I think I have pinned down the identity of the culprit. Alright, guys, welcome back to some more Umineko, when they cry. Yes, that is right. But now that I've got your interest, I have to talk about the mystery I gave you all last time. Let's just go to the music box right away for now, just so we're in a safe space with no wind howling at us. Okay, so I gave you guys a mystery last time, and I hope I can give you guys a good solution comparable to your solution to the mystery I gave you during the theory discussion video. Now, if you're watching this and you haven't seen my theory discussion video, I know it's like 3.5 or almost 4 hours long. I do recommend watching that first before watching this, because what I'm going to be talking about here is related to what I talked about in my theory discussion video after I finished Umineko When They Cry, episode 4, by the way. So yeah. Okay, so the mystery I gave you all was, how old am I going to be in 3 days' time when you guys watch this at least? I'm recording this on a nice Thursday night, but you guys should be watching this tomorrow on Friday. Um, and, you know, I'm gonna turn a certain age this Sunday, so in 2 days from when you guys are watching this, like I said. And then so I gave you guys a mystery to try and figure out how old I was based on how, I mean, I guess based on how mature I am, how you guys judge my maturity rate, and also based on what I've said throughout videos. I might have should have actually revealed how old I was at some point during one of these recordings, but I don't remember it. So, if I guess if you've watched enough to the point where you've heard me say it at some point, then you deserve to have solved the mystery anyway. There you go. All right, and I got only one person that actually tried. I mean, at least until now. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe if I let it go a couple more days or whatever, maybe I'll get more answers. But for now, I only got one answer, and that person guessed that I was going to be turning 20. So that person guessed that I'm currently 19 and that I'm going to be turning 20 this Sunday. And I can reveal right now that the only person who guessed wrong. That's right. I am turning 49. In the reply section, a fantastic, lovely commenter. I guessed that I was going to be turning 49, and they got it. Let's go. So I'm currently 48 years old, as you can very well tell from my voice, right? I sound like a 48-year-old man, and my personality in general is definitely very mature, definitely 48-year-old man sounding. And even better, it fits with what I told you all about how I was older than Maria and younger than Rosa. Now I know what you might be thinking. Wait, Amin. Are you telling me Rosa is over 50 years old? And my answer to that is, I never specified which Rosa and which Maria. And they both died in 1986. And yeah, Rosa's, she's not 50. She's not 50. Cross could be 50. Eva, not maybe. Rosa's not 50. Rosa could be 40s. She could be in her 40s. She's not 50. But wait. Does that mean that reply was? Yes, of course that reply was wrong. I'm not turning 49. God damn it. Ugh. It hurt me, not because I'm not turning 49, but because you're implying that Rose is in her 50s, alright? And honestly, at the same time, that's a compliment. Look how good she looks, even though she's in her 50s. So, it's half a compliment, but also, come on, man. You can imply Rose is in her 50s now. Come on. With a 9-year-old daughter. Come on, man. Don't do it like that. I mean, is that even possible? I'm not gonna question it. We're getting very much off topic here. So, the original commenter, the only person who guessed, was actually correct. Congrats! You earned Halloween candy. Yes, I will be turning 20, which means that I am currently, as of now, uh, among the list of oldest teenagers in the world. I mean, tomorrow, the day after you're watching this, I mean, the day after this comes out, I should say. I don't know when you're watching this. But tomorrow, I will be the oldest teenager in the world that the world has ever seen temporarily. Temporarily. And then I'll finally start hitting my third decade. And so, while I'm still 19, while I'm still a teenager, I shall try as my last accomplishment of this decade to solve who the culprit of Umineko. I said Umineko. Let's go. I can't speak. All right. Let's just put on. What's a good soundtrack? Yes, great. Back. That's the first soundtrack I pressed on. Let's go. So now, I want to start reading episode 5 this part. The plan was for me to read episode 5 this part, by the way, before I get to the theory crafting. That was the plan. The plan was for me to tell you guys who I think the culprit is, because I think between the theory discussion video that I uploaded 2 days ago and now, I think I have found who the culprit is. But so the plan wasn't for me. The plan was never for me to have managed to get this far in finding the culprit. That is, I mean, I could be wrong, and I do think I am wrong, but I'll get to that in a second. I just want to say that I knew that post uploading the video, the theory discussion video, I knew that through your comments and all that stuff, through the discussion that was going to happen in the comments, I knew I'd get more information. I knew I'd make new realizations, right? But I thought I could let those slide because when I start episode 5, I'd be like, I've made some new realizations, it's fine, whatever, we start episode 5 anyway, and maybe as we go along while we read episode 5, I could tell you guys little by little any new realizations I made after the theory discussion video. I was prepared for that. What I wasn't prepared for was to straight up go in and just open my mind to who it could be. So, okay, let's start with how it all started. I left at the end of the theory discussion video. I left the culprit number to 3. I left it between 3. I thought it was between 3 people. And I said it was between Natsuhi, Jessica, and Shannon. Those were the 3 I left off with at the end of the theory discussion video. Alright? Now. And I was confused by, and I even noticed I even said it in the theory discussion video, the hardest murder that I could solve Nando's murder, but I didn't know how to solve Nazi's murder in episode 1. But I got a clarification from a commenter, and that for me sealed the deal. That for me sealed the deal. What I mean by clarification, by the way, this commenter didn't spoil me, of course not. They just clarified what the red shoots meant, because I didn't understand what the visual was telling me. This is what the visual was telling me. So it's not a spoiler. It's them telling me that's what they're trying to tell you. It's information that is already given to me that I don't understand. It's not, you know what I mean? You get what I mean. Come on, I don't count as a spoiler. But anyway, how did I get to culprit? So here we go. I shall introduce you guys to the most far-fetched but also sane-sounding theory ever. I just want to say before we go down this rabbit hole, I don't know how long this video is going to be. Before we go deep down this rabbit hole, because there's a lot to talk about. I was planning to upload a video yesterday, actually, or I mean today, when you guys are watching this. I was planning to upload a video today, but the reason why I'm not doing that is because I spent the last couple of days just quickly researching. I didn't even get to do extensive research. I know I could have done more research and found more things to either support or deny my claim, but I decided not to do that because I really want to start reading episode 5 by now. So I swear this is going to be the last 3 discussion video I make. This is going to be this is it. Even if you guys give me new ideas in the comments, this is it. Okay? Secondly, whatever you guys say in the comments, I just want to say something before we start here. If you're a viewer, by the way, that's fine. You're completely fine, by the way. There's nothing wrong with not commenting under the videos, or you don't even have to like. You don't have to do anything. I mean, as long as you're watching, I'm happy. You know what I mean? That's all. Like, that's all I'm here for. That's like completely acceptable. I just want to say that right off the bat. But if you are a person who chooses to comment, I do want to say one thing, or a couple things actually. Do not. Do not, this time, do not tell me whether what I'm about to say right now is right or wrong. If the theory is far-fetched as hell, okay, what I'm about to tell you guys is completely nonsensical in many ways, but also sensical in so many ways. And that's why I love it. And that's why, do not tell me if I'm right or wrong. And the reason why I say this is because up until now, I've kind of been whatever with it. You know what I mean? I've said, for example, in the Tea Party, if you watched the Tea Party parts of episode 4, I said, when Beato asked Battler, who am I? The first thing I immediately said was, Battler's mother. That was what I theorized back then. That was the first thing that came to my mind. And that got quickly shut down, I feel like, by multiple comments that told me, nah, I mean, don't think that way. I don't think that's the case because of various reasons. I mean, the biggest one obviously being the fact that she kind of denied that in red, saying that I am Beato, but I have nothing. Your family has nothing to do with this. She said that in red, and then another commenter told me that it wasn't. This hasn't been foreshadowed at all in the visual novel. To which I'd argued back, saying, I don't know what is foreshadowing the visual novel. I don't know what the visual novel is pointing towards. What I do know is that Beato decided to tell Battler at that point in time that Asum was not his birth mother. Okay? Yes, she decided later to say that Battler's relationship with her has nothing to do with his family, and that's why I started doubting it. But it did help me a lot in that theory, based on you guys telling me, nah, I mean, nah. So, for this time's sake, don't do that, okay? Don't do that. I can be off the rails, and that's fine. There's a reason they're called the answer arcs, I'm sure. They'll prove me wrong if I am wrong. Alright? I'm sure. Alright? Of course, you're allowed to discuss. You're allowed to discuss comments. I'm not saying that. Like, you're allowed to say what you said here is wrong because the scene happened differently. So that part of the theory is wrong. You're allowed to obviously you're allowed to say that, or you're allowed to discuss it. But I don't want it to be so clear that I'm either right or wrong. I think it's a lot more fun if I don't know if I'm right or wrong. And this theory sounds I know it is far-fetched. It's very far-fetched. But the more I went down the hole, phrasing, the more things I found. But anyway, there was the other thing was that I said right, I didn't know that Battler's perspective was the main perspective, and that perspectives that were in Battler's perspective could be argued to be narration lying to us. I didn't know that. That's another thing that I'm going to be using when I'm in this theory. By the way, the theory that I make using the assumption that what Battler sees is what we can trust to have seen, and what Battler doesn't see is obviously all be magical, all it wants to be. Does that make sense? So, for example, episode 4 had a lot of magical things going on, and I argued that in the theory discussion video, I argued that because Battler wasn't there present, you cannot tell me, I don't have to believe that those magical things actually happened. That's what I argued. And the reason why I argued that is because, again, I got helps in the comments telling me that, hey, Battler, since Battler didn't see it, you can't trust it. I didn't know that, right? And why did the comments tell me that to begin with? It was because when Kins was confirmed to be, the 18th fake person, and he's been dead all along, basically, right? Then Beato confirmed in red that there's 17 people, right? I then said, okay, well, couldn't it be one of the other family members that could it be one of the other family members that acted like you know that seemed alive but were actually dead all along? That's what I said. And then the comments told me, I think there were multiple, that were like, no, because Battler has interacted with every family member in the island. And so that was when I was like, oh, okay, so that's how that works. I didn't know that's how that worked. I didn't know that things Battler didn't witness don't necessarily have to be the real narration. Does that make sense? I didn't know. Yes, I know Battler's the main character. I know we're seeing things through the perspective of Battler, but I didn't know that, right? Because there have been multiple scenes that have happened outside of Battler that you can now argue are magical scenes that I wasn't aware. Okay, maybe you could argue like that. I didn't think about it like that. You know what I mean? So let's just say what the conclusion I've arrived at now. I can't speak again. Is through the help of some of you guys, basically. I will say the clue that gave it away completely was actually not a clue. I would say that helped me out as much as the other two. Like I'm saying, like seeing things from Battler's perspective, and for example, Beato not being Battler's mother. These two, I think were clear. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. But the clue, well, I say a clue. What I learned from this comment, I would say is not a part of those other comments, because what I learned from this comment, I think was something that I think it's not a revealing thing that I didn't know of. I just hadn't thought about it from that perspective. Anyway, I've talked about it for long enough. We'll get to it here. And I'll start from where it all started. Alright? In the theory discussion video, this is how it all started, and I think it's easier for me to explain my theory of who the culprit is if we start with how I started and how my thoughts went. So it started in the theory discussion video. I said in the theory discussion video, if you guys have watched that, that's why I'm recommending you guys to watch the theory discussion video. I said how, and you guys, this is not related, in fact, to me talking about who the culprit could be. But I was going through the rounds of the red truths. I was confirming all the different red truths. And I talked about how there are many times that Beato didn't confirm in red that people had actually died. And that's why, and Battler was not there to see it, so therefore you cannot prove that these people actually died. Now, this, what I'm saying right now is very important to the theory on who the culprit actually is. Because I then said in the Boiler Room episode 1 that Canon never actually died. I said that. I didn't know why. I didn't see at the time that Canon was the culprit. I'm not saying right now that Canon is the culprit. You guys might go like, well, are you saying that Canon is the culprit? What I said back then is that for some reason or other, Canon faked his death in the Boiler Room in episode 1. How did I arrive at that conclusion? Well, because Beato confirmed in red that no human, dead or alive, could have killed Canon. Canon did not commit suicide, and Canon did not die in an accident. I cannot see any way Canon could have died at all. And Beato never confirmed that Canon actually died. Result? Canon never actually died. He faked his own death for some reason. So is Canon the culprit? Well, it goes deeper than that. It goes deeper than that. Because, and I didn't make this connection while theory, because by the way, my head was filled with so many things by making that theory discussion video. My head wasn't just filled in trying to find who the culprit is. My head was filled with trying to find out where the gold is, where right? What the epitaph? Oh, I spent some time in the epitaph trying to solve it. I didn't get nowhere with that. I still haven't gone nowhere with that. So it's not this I have given up on it. I'll still try to think, but I need more info from the visual novel directly. I can't lie. That's a hard epitaph. All right. If I've managed to solve who the culprit is here, I don't think so, because it does sound very far-fetched. So you'll see what I mean when I get to it. But my head was filled with so many things, so I didn't make this connection at the time. This comment helped me make this connection. The comment was like, yo, Amin, interesting thought you said there. So Canon faked his own death in episode 1. Hey, have you not seen any other interesting things regarding Canon's corpse in episode 2? His corpse wasn't found in Jessica's room. He died in Jessica's room, but his corpse wasn't found there. What the hell's that about? Ah, okay. You could just... I wanted two coincidences. Okay, so Connor fakes his own death in episode 1, and in episode 2, his body is disappeared. Okay. Well, okay, and then he, of course, in episode 2, he later returns as fake canon. We'll get to that later, of what I think about that. In episode 3, canon, quote-unquote, dies in the chapel. And then he returns to guide Jessica to a hiding place from Eva. At the end of episode 3. Now, okay, I know what you're thinking. But I mean, Battle didn't see that happen. So... it could be someone other than canon. Well, we know it's not Battler. We know it's not Eva that carried Jessica over, right? It's doubtful that Jessica somehow made it all the way out of the room on her own and managed to find a hiding spot from Eva. It is very doubtful. So someone clearly helped Jessica out, meaning that someone that we thought was quote unquote dead at the time helped Jessica get out of there for some reason or another. Now, the visual novel presented that person to us as canon, but of course, because Battle didn't see it, with the logic that we're using, it could be someone else. It could be narration trying to fool us. Fair enough. I mean, interesting that Jessica recognized Canon's voice, but maybe she was seeing illusions. Maybe it was someone else. Fair enough. We'll allow it. I'll allow it. Alright. But we're not done here yet, because episode 4 is the most clear one. Battler never found Canon's corpse when investigating episode 4. Beato confirmed in red that Canon had died, but Canon's corpse was never found. And when the comment told me that, or at least discussed that with me, I immediately realized, this is it. Figuring this out would equal figuring out who the culprit is. It's literally it. That is it. That is the last piece of the puzzle that is needed. If I can figure out what the hell's going on with Canon's corpse, I've got it. And that's why I didn't upload yesterday, because I spent time trying to figure it out. And in only 2 days, say only 2 days, I spent a long time. This is where I got. Canon, is he the culprit? Let's backtrack a second. Jessica once asked for Canon, I think it was Jessica at least. She once asked what Canon's real name was. We know Shannon's real name is Sayo, right? So maybe it could be natural to think that Canon has a real name as well. Canon didn't answer though. Canon's like, I'm not gonna give it to you. Maybe sometime else. Again, I haven't reread the specific scene. I've reread other scenes, but I haven't reread this specific scene. So I don't exactly know who asked Canon, but I think it was Jessica asking Canon what his real name was, because George knew what Shannon's real name was, and so Jessica was also interested in knowing when, but Canon didn't answer, basically. Okay. Next. My immediate theory was that, similar to Kinzo, you know how the red truth is flexible. It's able to say that 18 people exist on the island, even though one of them is already dead, Kinzo. So if it's able to do that for Kinzo, it's able to do that for Canon. So my immediate theory was that someone's disguising themselves as Canon. And that there are actually 16 people on the island. So we've gone from theories that there could be 19 people on the island to now actually there being 16 people. And someone's acting as a 17th person, disguising themselves as both. I took it a step further. From that. And I went and theorized that, based on Canon's personality, Canon has always shown hatred for Beato. I say hatred. He's always been very against her, to say the least. he's been very much shown disapproval for Beato, being like, Beato, I don't like you. Now, if you assume Beato is whoever is cosplaying as Beato, who we assume is the culprit, then that is Beato. Which, by the way, I guess I should do a little sidetrack here too, because this is important. I think now that I know everything that I know, I think that the Beato that died 19 years ago is the real Beato, and I think that the culprit now is cosplaying as Beato. I think whoever the culprit is cosplaying as Beato. I don't think Beato of 19 years ago is still alive and is doing the murders. And I think it is most evident when you see the personality shift. There's a staggering personality shift between the Beato who was talking with Kinzo 19 years ago and the current Beato who's cackling about with butterflies. So I'm gonna make that clear right now. I think that's the case. I think the current culprit is cosplaying as Beato. So anyway, now that I made that clear, Canon has shown this strong dislike for this Beato person. So my theory was then, very impulsively, okay, so someone's cosplaying as Canon, and whoever is cosplaying as Canon is secretly working the shadows to fight against the culprit. That was my immediate theory. So I thought maybe George had a sinking suspicion that Shannon was the culprit. So George disguised himself as Canon and acting, and George also acting like he was in love with Shannon. He wasn't actually in love with Shannon. It was all an act. This is ridiculous. This is a far-fetched theory that I made at the time. And okay, so George is actually trying to find evidence that it's Shannon and try to get her. But every time he's come close, Shannon kills him or something. Because in this specific theory that I made at the time, Shannon would then have to be the culprit, for example. Or Nazi, or Jessica, whoever it is, right? George, for example, cosplays as Canon and is trying to find the culprit. That's why Canon is so against... that's why Canon is so against Beato, because he's directly opposing Beato, right? Obviously, it doesn't take much thinking to realize that, to debunk this whole complete theory. And obviously, not just George being Canon, right? To debunk most people being Canon. Because, well, firstly, when Canon was first introduced, George was present, and Battler had seen it all. He was there. Battler was present, so we saw it from Battler's perspective. Both George and Canon were there, so that completely removes that theory. But secondly, Canon is a servant from the island, so that removes all theory that you could possibly make about Canon being someone in disguise from outside the island, because Canon is a servant from within the island, right? So that removes a lot of people. But even then, even if you don't want to accept that, again, when he was first introduced, everyone who visited the island were there, right? Rudolph, Kirie, Eva, Hideyoshi, Rosa, and Maria were all there when Canon was first introduced. Battler was there, George and Jessica. It could have been any of the cousins. It couldn't have been most of the siblings, other than Cross and Natsu, of course, who weren't there at the time. We'll get to them in a second. And it couldn't have been Gora. This is interesting. And it couldn't have been Kumasawa, because they were both there as well. Alright. So now we've narrowed down the culprits to only islanders. But already, I say the culprits. We've narrowed down who isn't disguising themselves as Canon to only the islanders. And we've already ruled out Jessica, because she was there. Kumasawa, because she was there. And Gora, because he was there. Now, now we only got a few islanders left who could be cosplaying as Canon. If my theory is all correct. Now, this is all far-fetched. It's going to get a bit more far-fetched. So here's the thing. I started off with thinking, alright, who's a male, right? Surely it's a male cosplayer. Surely it's a man or a boy, whoever it is, cosplaying as Canon. So that was my first thought there. Right? Similar to how I tried to hear that Beato is a female culprit, because Beato's female. I tried to think, okay, well maybe Canon is male too. And obviously Beato being female made me think that the culprit was between 3 women. Guess what? 3 girls. Between Nazi, Shannon, and Jessica. That was where that led me. So where this led me is obviously that it's between Genji and Cross. So who do you think? I can't speak. Who do you guys think between Genji and Cross is Canon? I'm here to confidently answer you all. Neither. And Nanjo, to be fair. And Nanjo. But it's not Nanjo either. Come on now. Come on, y'all. So you'll be thinking, why? Why? I mean, why is it not any of these people? Right? I mean, first things first, they don't look anywhere near Kanon. Like, how could they even cosplay Kanon? How could Genji do that? How could Nanjo do that? They don't look like him. How could Cross do that? They really feasibly couldn't. Secondly, multiple of these characters, Battler has been with them both at the same time while Kanon was present. For example, Cross and Natsui were both present in the dining hall when Kanon was there as well. So it can't be them. And Nanjo, so it's not Nanjo either. I mean, if you really wanna think Nanjo's cosplay is Kanon, you can go ahead, you crazy freak. Then we have let's see. We have Genji, who I'm actually unsure of. Right, till now, I'm sure of whether Battler has seen both Genji and Kanon at the same time at any point in the visual novel. But you know what? I didn't need to. I didn't need to. For what I'm about to say, I really didn't need to. So, but it could help to confirm my theory more, to strengthen it. But we'll see. I read back to when Kanon was first introduced. He was this, he spoke in a low tone. Very unsociable, didn't want to talk to people. Kanon was then said to have been a servant for 3 years, or that might have been later, that might have been after he was introduced. But he's definitely introduced as someone who's 16 years old, who's been serving there for 3 years. Okay, 16 years old, serving there for 3 years, talks in a very low voice, unsociable. Okay, okie dokie, okie dokie. Now, I then went on to read onward on episode 1. Yeah, on episode 1. And I read back to when Shannon was first introduced to Battler and the rest. She came to the guest house over. And Shannon said, they were talking with each other, blah, blah, blah. And then one of Jessica or Battler or whatever, or George or something mentioned that Shannon's been working for the family for 10 years, and she's been working there since she was 6 years old. Now, I know I'm an engineer, but I have higher expectations than you all. I have high expectations that you guys can all do the math and figure out that must mean that Shannon is 16 years old. And this is when you go, I mean, what the frick? Especially if you've read the whole visual novel. Especially if you know who the culprit is. This is going to sound ridiculous because you probably know that this isn't the case. And that I'm being crazy. And that's why I love it. Let me be crazy for now. That's right. Shannon is canon. Now, I know right away. I know you're laughing. I know the series is wrong. I know you're laughing. I get it. But, please, let me entertain you all with how insanely far you can get with this theory. I mean, if this is not the case, which it probably isn't, it sounds insane. It sounds absolutely absurd. I know it's absurd. I still don't think it makes sense. But the evidence is truly amazing. Well, for one thing, Shannon and Kanon, they don't look that unalike, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I could see them looking, I could see them looking a little bit alike. I mean, they don't look alike, but I mean, no one else looks like them. And besides, anyone who could possibly look like them is confirmed to not be the culprit. George doesn't look like them. He's confirmed to not be the culprit anyway. Jessica, you could argue, somehow might look like them. She's confirmed to not be the culprit. When I say culprit, I mean canon anyway. Kirie, maybe you could see some similarities. It's not her anyway. So the only person that couldn't confirm was really Genji. And I think that's it. I think Genji is the only other person I really can confirm whether he has been in the same place as Kanon while Battler is there. But Genji looks nowhere near Kanon. I'm trusting the sprites here, okay? I'm trusting the sprites to be fairly okay-ish accurate. Genji does not look like Kanon. And so, Shannon was the only one left. And it didn't make sense. I didn't want to believe it. But here's the thing. Right? And I'll first talk about the evidence to support this theory, and then I'll talk about the evidence that goes against it, okay? Because once I finish talking about the evidence that supports this theory, I think you guys will all be on board. Like, I mean, you figured it out, hell yeah. And that's what I was feeling too at the time, at some point. And then, eventually, when I thought about why it couldn't be this theory, I noticed that, okay, this is probably very wrong. And I know you guys are probably, I know what's probably happening right now, realistically, is you guys are all laughing at me because I'm completely off the mark, and I should have just stuck with the Nazi culprit theory because Nazi is actually the culprit. And friggin' you guys are you guys are probably just trying to amuse me here for some reason, and I'm not completely off the mark. But at least you have to admit, after I'm done talking about the coincidences of how it all matches up, I hope you guys will at least be with me and say, you know what? Well, you might have been wrong, Amin. Those were some crazy coincidences that led to it being the case. Now, I think the coincidences cannot be mere coincidences at this point, and I think more than likely, while I could be very wrong about who the culprit is, more than likely I've gotten some things right and some things wrong. More than likely. I think that's what's really happening here. I don't think... We'll see. But anyway. So, Kanon and Shannon, similar age. Could argue maybe they look a little bit alike. And Battler has definitely not seen them both at the same time. They've never been together at the same time, ever. I don't remember this. If you guys remember that, then go ahead. I don't remember any scene with that. I remember them being together when they were alone, while Shannon was with other people, like in the dungeon episode 4, but Battler was not present. So this is what I mean. If you guys hadn't told me that Battler, you know, the things Battler doesn't see can be trusted, I would not have arrived at this theory. And this is what I meant by that. And this is what I really, really meant by that. But anyway, we can keep going here. Now, I want to try really quickly. I say really quickly, this is going to take a while. I'm going to try solving all the murders using this Kanon is Shannon theory. And that's why we can't find Kanon's corpse at the end of every episode. And that's why Kanon doesn't have a real name. And that's why the culprit is actually not Shannon, actually, but Sayo. Nara, haha, Sayonara. Imagine that's her name, Sayonara. That'd be a funny name, you know. Like her last name should be Nara. I can't wait. That would be fantastic fun, bro. And oh, goodbye when the witch revives. Goodbye, Sayonara. Oh, that would fit. That would be clever. Hey, write out the visual novel. Hey, write that down. Write that down. When the seagulls cry, Sayonara. Damn! That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, dude, I should be a writer. Okay, no, I shouldn't. Anyway, continuing off with the theory. If Sayo is cosplaying as Kanon, it's not too far-fetched to also believe that she could be cosplaying as this mystery person, Beatrice, dressing up in her dress and in Jessica's school clothes, which, like we already said, she can definitely get a hold of those because of how close of a relationship she has with Jessica in multiple ways, because she's supposedly also Connor in this case, and we'll get to that later. Okay, so Sayo cosplays as both Beato and as Kanon, you say. Okay. Now, if her personality can change that much between being herself and Kanon, I can also see her personality change that much between being herself and Beato. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say is that Shannon might just have some multiple personality disorder. I think she might just have multiple personalities, and that when she puts on different clothes, her personality changes. Like Mike from Total Drama. You guys know Mike from Total Drama, All Stars and stuff like that. If you guys have seen Total Drama, you'll know what I mean. Mike from Total Drama, he. By the way, Total Drama was only the first 3 seasons were good. When Mike got introduced, by that point, Total Drama was not as good anymore. But I still watch those seasons because I love Total Drama. But with Total Drama, right? Total Drama Island is good. Total Drama World Tour is goated. It's my favorite season. I love Total Drama World Tour. Anyway, I went off topic. But Mike from Total Drama, whenever he wore something different, he acted like a completely different person, right? When he had his hair back, he was like, cool, Mike, yeah. And when he had different clothes, he would act like a ballerina. He would act like... And then it's his normal version, basically, right? So, I don't know if Shannon is Sayo's normal version or not. I don't know what Sayo's normal version is. I don't know if you've ever seen it. And I don't know if it has anything to do with Battler and Battler's sin, which again we'll get to that discussion as well eventually, because as you guys know, I'm well aware of the fact that whoever the culprit is has to be connected to Battler in some form of way. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So Sayo is the culprit, and she can act as both Beato and Kanon, has multiple personalities. So when Beato says in red that Kanon's dead, maybe Kanon's personality maybe Kanon's Sayo personality, Sayo's Kanon personality is dead. Maybe? It's the only thing I can arrive at. But, anyway, let's try to solve all the mysteries. And I'm telling you guys right now, all the mysteries using this theory. Because as I went through, there was not a single mystery I couldn't solve using this theory. It was actually amazing. It was actually amazing. So, episode 1, first Twilight. If you guys want to skip on ahead of me, all this my interpretation of how all these mysteries could be solved using this theory, which is absurd to begin with, but me being able to solve all the murders with this is one big reason why. It's already a big piece of evidence of just how, you know what I mean. But at the same time, I feel like you could just make a completely far-fetched theory about Kanon being someone else and still solve all the mysteries. I don't know, but we'll start from the very beginning. Episode 1, first Twilight. Don't think I really need to tell you guys how that happened, right? Sayo, Kanon, Huberto, whichever personality did it, killed the first 6 people in the dining hall. That's why we saw blood in the dining hall, right? Natsuyo spared because she went to her room, and I don't know if she locked the door or not, but she was spared, went to her room. We know that Hideyoshi and Eva left early, I believe, because they went to their own. Wasn't that the time when they went to their own guest room in the mansion and they banged? Wasn't that what happened? They were like talking about going to the Maldives, right? They were talking about going to the Maldives, and then they banged that night or something like that. So they were having their own good time, and so Sayo just killed the 6 family members that were in the dining hall, which would then be wait. Yeah, because Natsu wasn't there. And let's see, I've already solved this. I don't know why I'm thinking about it like this so hard. I've already solved this. Okay, so yeah, Natsu was passed. Hideyoshi and Eva went to the guest room. So what we have left is Kraus, Rudolph Kyrie, Rosa. So those 4. Yeah, those 4 were in the dining hall. Sai went on a killing spree. Alright? From then on, for some reason, Sayo, or whichever personality did it, went over to Natsu's door with the scorpion charm, just smeared blood on the doorknob for some reason, and left. I don't know. At that point, I don't know. See, this is the thing. I don't know the motivation at that point. and the motivation is a big thing here, so I'll leave it there for now. Uh, Sayo then set the bodies in the shutter, right? Inside the store, the shed house, the storehouse, the shutter that goes to the guarding shed. Okay, set the bodies there, locked it, and drew the magic circle at some point. Okay, then, funnily enough, the second day starts, and we see Kanon. Okay, now we have Kanon. Now the personality switched from Sayo to Kanon. And this sort of things get interesting. This where I was like, no freaking way. Because Kanon then is like, Genji, I can't find anyone. Oh yeah, another thing is, Sayo also at some point during every episode cuts off the phone lines to the external phone lines, so you can't contact the police outside. This is something Sayo does on purpose every episode. So she's done that in episode 1 as well, because Kanon couldn't connect to the servant room to tell Gora to prepare the food or whatever, right? I reread that little scene there. Anyway, Kanon tells Genji, "Hey yo, I cannot find these people. I cannot find the family." Then Eva and Hideyoshi also come down and are like, what's up? Where's the fam? What's up? Where's the food? Where's breakfast? Nazi also comes down and he's panicking. I mean, Genji first went to Nazi, didn't he? So Nazi was there first. She found the bloody doorknob, whatever. Genji then Nazi, I don't know which one, I don't remember exactly. They ordered Kano to go find the bodies. Well, not the bodies, but find where the families are, because they didn't know they were dead at the time. Kanon then runs off to find the friggin' bodies, right? And honestly, what happens next is amazing. It's such a crazy piece of information that you and then she also told Kanon to go wake the let's see. Wait, was Kanon the one who woke the children up? Someone woke the children up. I think it was Kanon. I think Kanon also sent it, or maybe it was someone else. Maybe it was Genji or something. Someone's already in order to wake up the children to send them back, to have them go back to the mansion. Whatever. At this point, it doesn't exactly matter. So, because, yeah, Kanon then went to the storehouse, did his thing there. Okay. And then, and then yeah, Kanon, right, because Kanon first went to to the shed, ran back, told Genji that there was this weird thing in the storehouse, on the door, and Genji's like, okay, we gotta go check, because he needs to open the thing. So, Kanon then runs back, and eventually the family members follow along, excluding the siblings, for the cousins for a while. So, Eva and Hideyoshi and Nazi also follow along eventually, and Nanjo comes along too. But realistically, Kanon and Genji were the first to go, right? And this is important for what I'm about to say. At some point, Kanon switched personalities with Shannon, changed clothes. Who knows where he dropped off his Kanon clothes? Changed to Shannon. Went to the friggin' storehouse, right? Acted like she was a dead corpse. Shannon, still with the ring from George on her. And then, as Genji opened the door to the storehouse, to the shutter. I keep calling it the storehouse. I don't know. The shed. I'll call it the shed for now. The gardening shed. Genji opened it, I guess. Then Nazi, Nanjo, Eva, and and them stormed in, found all the corpses there. Curiously enough, eventually the cousins follow along because they noticed something was weird. Eva and Nazi were trying to block the path, but of course the cousins figured out, oh no, there's corpses here, and Maria was there too. Do you guys see something interesting here? Yes, Kanon was not there. Kanon was literally not there. And nobody noticed, I guess. I guess Nazi and Eva didn't notice because they were too shocked, and Hideyoshi. I guess maybe because they were too shocked at the fact that, you know, their family members had died, to even notice that that Kanon was gone. Because where did Kanon go, right? Kanon just goes, hey, there's something with the shutter, goes to the shutter, and he's just gone. Honestly, you already from the first episode, you're already, if you can realize this much, you're already well on your way to suspecting Kanon, because that's amazing. There's an obvious clue right there that I didn't notice at the time because of, again, my shock of seeing all the dead corpses. I couldn't, my brain didn't have space to remember that, hey, Kanon's supposed to be here somewhere, isn't he? Isn't he supposed to be? So Nanjo then goes on to Shannon's corpse or whatever, Hideyoshi as well, and Hideyoshi tells George that Shannon's dead, but she still has the ring, but Shannon's just acting, with this theory, Shannon's just acting dead. They then leave the storehouse, the friggin' shed, and they go back to the mansion. Alright. Shannon then comes back, you know what I mean? Like, you know, she faked her death, but she's good, you know what I mean? So she comes back, she stands up, she's like, alright, cool. Now, the entire family thinks I'm dead. So now I can roam the mansion how I want. So, the next deaths were the next deaths were Eva and Hideyoshi, right? There was a second Twilight. And again, guess who the first person was on the scene when they died? It was Kanon. Kanon was like, oh no, the door is locked. Oh no, Genji, help me get in there. Yeah, okay, Kanon. Yeah, that's right. Kanon went in there and killed them both. Okay, so Kanon went in and killed them both. Acted like the door was closed. He didn't know what's going on. Killed them both. This all fits with the Red Truth, by the way. No Red Truth denies this. Killed them both. Bang bang. And drew the magic circle. And he was like, oh no, Genji, help me out. Oh no. In this case, yeah. And there we go. So second Twilight is resolved. We got it. Kanon Sayo theory still holds. Next, that's where episode 1. I have to go through every episode here, so you guys can be convinced. Okay. Next, that's where, let's see who died next. Was it the 4th, 5th, 6th Twilight's? When did Kumasawa die in episode 1? Right, they died. Kumasawa, Genji, and Nanjo died in the... Yeah, because they died in the parlor because Nazi didn't trust anybody anymore. Because they all went up to the study, and Nazi kicked them out, kicked out the people that could have put the letter in the study. So Kumasawa, Nanjo, Genji, and Maria even, cruel from Nazi there, they were all left in the dark. But I mean, understandable. Maria does seem like quite the obvious accomplice there. Which, by the way, that's another thing I should mention. Kanon had plenty of time to before the murders even happened to give Sayo, I should say, had plenty of time to discuss herself as Beato and give Maria the umbrella, and then go back to being her Kanon persona or whatever. So Maria could then go on to believe that Beato gave her that umbrella. Moving on. So yeah, this theory still holds. Then Kanon, Shannon, Sayo, whatever, Beato, whoever it is, probably actually Beato, definitely Beato. They disguise themselves as Beato. This person, they're all the same person. Disguise themselves as Beato. Went onto the parlor, killed the 3 of them, hid the guns or whatever somewhere else. Told Maria to stare at the wall and sing. Put on the friggin' the phone receiver. Left the room. Closed the door. Or did they close the door? Did she close the door? I don't know. I don't remember. But it doesn't really matter. Because at this point, like I said, Sayo has free range to do whatever she wants. And another thing, very important thing to remember. This also makes Sayo have 2 master keys. She has control of 2 master keys. Because both Kanon and Shannon, they have to have a master keys, and if they're both the same person, Sayona has 2 master keys, and that's important. That's very important to remember. So with 2 master keys, she really does have free reign to do bunch of different stuff and make us believe that they're different people. it's still kind of awesome that she was able to trick. If this theory is true, that she was able to trick the entire family for 3 years. That him and Sayo or Shannon were two different people. Anyway, the reason why I'm calling the Shannon Sayo, by the way, is because they're the person who we know the real name of. We know Shannon Connor are just nick. They're not their actual names. They come from whatever orphanage thing that Kinzo made, which is also kind of And I want to talk about that later as well. But okay, so there you go. We had that happen. Eventually, once they hear the phone ring, the group study, they went doing this Kinzo study. They went down to check on they went down to check the parlor. They found the dead bodies. Maria told them it was Beato, obviously. It wasn't. And then Nazi went out on her own. The fool she was. Met up with Sayo, Beato, whoever it is. Got shot. Got killed. I think part of the reason why she lost that battle is because she didn't have a bullet left in her gun. I don't remember. Wasn't that? I don't remember. But okay, anyway, she lost that gun battles. Beato won, and then in the darkness, the rest of the cousins also stormed in. They all stormed in. They found Natsui's corpse, and they were like, "Oh my god!" Then they saw the figure of the portrait, Beatrice herself, in her full glory, also known as just Sayo straight up. And then the 10th Twilight, only Maria's John remained. My friend's theory is as good as ever. So for the 10th Twilight, we'll just treat it as if there's a bomb going off or some explosives going off. So explosives go off, they boom boom, including Sayo, by the way. So Sayo in this case has no issues with dying. She's willing to die for a greater cause for some reason. I don't know why. I don't understand it either. And we'll get to that soon. Episode 2. I've already solved episode 2 without, I think, this theory, but we'll go along with it really quickly. I don't think I have to explain the letters and the keys and all that, so we'll just get straight to the point. Maria met Beato. Maria opened the door to the chapel for Beato, for Sayo. Sayo went in there. Oh yeah, by the way, I guess I should say this. I should say how the 6 family members ended up there, excluding Rosa. So, Rosa's was acting very weird in episode 2. I'll be honest. Rosa was acting very weird in episode 2. I think, and when I read back the ending of episode 2, I don't want to say this, but I do think Rosa might have been an accomplice in episode 2. I say an accomplice. I think she may have wanted the gold because using that thought, and there's a scene at the end that really helps steadfast this thought of mine that Rosa is actually, and I don't want to suspect my favorite character, but I have to do this in this case. So what I think happened is Beato showed herself. Sayo disguised herself as Beato, showed herself to the siblings, and she was like, "I have the gold." Now, if you guys remember the sea discussion video, I theorized that the gold was in the chapel. So what I think happened is Sayo went to the dining hall. She was like, "I got the gold. I got the gold," okay? And we know that Sayo had already met Rosa and Maria beforehand, earlier that episode. And I think what Sayo told Rosa at the time was that if she goes along with Sayo's plans, she wouldn't kill Rose. I don't know if she told her she wouldn't kill her, but she'll give her the gold because she has the gold, because she's discussed with Beato, and maybe Rosa believed in what Sayo was saying. So maybe Rosa believed what Sayo was saying and was like, "Okay, you'll give me the gold? Cool." So then Sayo lured everyone to the chapel where the gold actually was, and she was holding 3 ingots, or an ingot or something, or 2 ingots, best way to prove. And it was like, "Oh my god, the gold is real." But that's why they were all shocked. "Oh my god, Sayo's holding the gold," because Sayo knows the location of the gold, based on my theory that whoever the culprit is, whoever Beato is the person that currently is the holder of the gold, who currently owns the gold, and whoever eventually owns the gold becomes the new Beato. That was the theory I made. So Sayo knows what the gold is. She knows it's in the chapel. This really strengthens my theory that the gold is in the chapel. She leads them to the chapel, kills them all there except for Rosa. Maybe Rosa didn't even enter the chapel, perhaps. Does the whole letter shenanigans, whatever. Those 6 die in the chapel. With Maria's help, locking and unlocking the chapel is no issue. Plus, um, plus, Rosa could have also just been lying about the door being locked. So there's that. To be fair, right? I mean, she could have been like, "Oh no, but the door was locked the entire time. What's happening?" Right? She was trying to create. Rosa purposely was trying to create a locked room scenario for some reason, perhaps. By the way, I also think I am also just suspecting Genji of being an accomplice at all times because he's saying Master, he's lying about Kinzo being alive and all that stuff. So I'm suspecting Genji of just being an accomplice in every episode. So I don't think Rosa's the accomplice every episode. I'm just saying Genji, I think, might as well be at this point, along with Maria. He's just not as vocal about it. And, okay. Anyway, I don't know why Genji would help Sayo. We'll get to that, to motives in a second. So, Sayo then, in episode 2, the 2 who were close, second Twilight, those were Kanon and Jessica, right? That's why if you need to find Kanon's corpse, all Sayo had to do was, I guess, kill Jessica, and she has 2 master keys, so she left 1B with Jessica, creating that locked room scenario, or something. Then Kanon's corpse not being there is just because, it's Sayo. So there we go, and then she put on her Shannon persona, went with the rest to Jessica's room, and we're like, oh my god, Jessica's dead, but Kanon's corpse is not there. Oh, she went along with the act. Bada bing, bada boom, that's solved. Next is episode 2. Where are all the Twilights? Right, there was the whole George stuff. Right, okay, so George, let's see. No, before that, the servant room stuff happened. The servant room where Nanjo Kumasawa died. Yeah, Shannon and Genji were the one that told that story. So, if Shannon is the culprit, Sai is the culprit, Genji's an accomplice, that story's fake as hell. They dragged God along with it. Or something. Or maybe it is somewhat real, and... But then what's Kanon's... Maybe it is somewhat real, and... Actually, maybe there might be truth to it where Sayo disguised herself as Kanon, and that's why Gora is so shocked. So Gora's not an accomplice in this case, which I guess would make sense. So Gora's maybe not an accomplice. Sayo disguised herself as Kanon, appeared in front of them, then left or something, and then Gora couldn't believe it because Gora thought that Kanon was dead. And in the meanwhile, when Shannon quote-unquote ran to the boiler room, that was just her going to change clothes, and then she changed clothes again to Shannon, and then Gora petrified, couldn't believe it, went back and told everyone that Kanon had been alive again, and killed off Kumasawa and Nanjo. So in this scenario, Shannon, disguising herself as Kanon, killed the 2 of them, and then bang. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so solved! See what I mean? Solved, and Genji was in on it. So, or maybe he wasn't. I don't know, but I wanna go with that. Genji, I don't know. Next, next thing. Okay, then we had the whole George stuff. George believed everything Shannon says because George is in love with Shannon, with in love with the culprit. Freaking crazy lad. All right, you just had to be the most sus person and maybe still be innocent while also being in love with the actual culprit. That's crazy, George. So with this thought, Shannon kind of urged George on to go to the friggin' chapel because, they needed to get Natsu's key so that they get to Natsu's room because then they could protect themselves against magic. Yeah. Surrounding George was Genji and Gora. It was never going to be a good situation for Genji and Gora. They go to the chapel. They get Natsu's room key. They go back. To the to Natsu's room, and this is where things get interesting. Because Genji stayed back, right? And they return to to Natsu's room. Shannon, kills off Gora and George in that room. But then she also kills herself off. And you might be thinking, Amin, this, she's faking her death. No, this one was real. Sayo officially killed herself off right there and there. Because when Battler visited that corpse, as a commentator even pointed out to me, there was blood dripping out from her head, and there's no mistaking it. Sayo died at that point, and eventually Genji also confirmed that Kumasawa and Nando's the corpses were in the courtyard, meaning that Genji meaning that what I think happened is Sayo told Genji beforehand that she was gonna die, but she was going to take George and Gora along with her. So you just ensure that Battler, Maria, and Rosa stay in the mansion so that the explosives kill them off anyway, and everyone dies in the end. Genji's like, Wakarimashita, Master Beatrice. So in this case, Shannon will then have to be Beatrice. Genji knows what's going on all along. So then, Battler, at this point, he's in despair because eventually he goes to the. Rosa's still alive, by the way. I think Rosa would do it for materialistic gain, right? I mean, we saw how she was only carrying. We'll get to it in a second, but I think Rosa. I did say she might have been an accomplice in this case. Might have been. So then, Battler and Rosa and Muddy returned to the parlor. Rosa was the first to enter, and she was going around checking the curtains and stuff like that. Side, guess what? Rosa put the friggin' letter there that she might have received from Sayo or Genji or whoever. Then acted like it was Battler that did it to send Battler out so that she could be along with Maria, so that she could then try and go get the gold and escape from the explosives, wherever the explosives were located. That was her plan. Battler being kicked out and depressed, and he, without understanding anything that's going on, starts drinking. He gets completely blasted drunk. Genji then visits him. Battler is only interested in meeting a hot girl at the time and wants to know her 3 sizes. Genji's like, no, it's just me, Genji. Listen, we're gonna go up to the study. You're gonna see magical things. Battler goes with Genji up to the study and he sees magical things, but it's all delusion. Battler's drunk. There we go. So you guys, this is a good one from the visual novel to make us think that okay, magical things are happening. But if you think about it, Battler's drunk, so everything Battler sees, he's intoxicated. It's a delusion, never actually happened. Battler and Genji ended up dying in the study or wherever else in the mansion. The explosives killed them both. They're missing, which that's another thing. The corpses of the 10th Twilight are always missing. So if this explosives theory is true, or maybe something else is going on, but my friend made a really good theory that makes sense, then that would explain why the corpses are gone, or why they only found some dental records of Maria's jaw or whatever. Anyway, Rosa then runs off with Maria because Rosa notices there's bombs, or learns that there's bombs or whatever, and that they're gonna go off at midnight. But it's kind of too late. She's running with the gold in one arm and Maria in the other, and then they're running off together. It's a really beautiful scene. The visual novel, it made it seem like goats were chasing after them, but also the visual novel in the character files in their deaths always says that in the 10th Twilight people get gnawed away by demons, by these goats that just chew at them. So yeah, bombs got him. That's basically what really happened. So the goats are just bombs, and so she's running with Maria, then she falls off, hurts her ankle, and then she's like, no, we have to swim out of here because the bombs are gonna get him. And Maria's like, no, stay with you, Rosa's like, no, run off. And then they hug each other, and then Rosa tells Maria that Maria that she loves her, and Maria gets reconfirmed that okay, my mother still loves me. And that's what I think the golden line might be for Maria straight up, right? I think if it is just fake, the golden line doesn't actually exist, that it's just Rosa Rosa telling Maria that she loves her and didn't care about the money or the gold. I mean, she did. If she was an accomplice, she did it all for the gold. But at the end of the day, she died with Maria holding her, and she was like, "I should have been with you. I should have just appreciated you more. I'm sorry, Maria. I love you so much. And Maria was like, "You're the only mother, the only mother." So, before her death, Maria got to go to the Golden Land because she experienced bliss with her mother. That's how I interpreted that. So maybe that's what the Golden Land is. It's experiencing that bliss. Maybe the Golden Land is kind of leaving the whole magic delusion and entering the bliss. Maybe the whole magic delusion is just a side effect of you not wanting to believe. Nah, because that directly contradicts what Maria told Angie in episode 4. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. That's a whole discussion, a whole nother discussion. We're here to solve the murders using Sayo and Kano. We're not here to talk about the philosophy of Umineko right now. So, and we already talked about the philosophy of Umineko plenty during these read-throughs. So next, episode 2 has been solved, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Next, episode 3, the 6 locked rooms. This, I think this might be the most tricky one. This might be a tricky one to explain how because both Sayo, Shannon, and Kanon died here. But I made a theory. So Battler's theory would then have to be wrong here in this case, because Battler's theory was that well, in this case Rudolph would have to be the culprit. Acted like he found the key in Shannon's corpse, and then and he was the one that did the killings. Naturally not. And if you guys remember, in this scenario, Sayo has 2 master keys. That's important to know. Sayo has 2 master keys. So Sayo in episode 3, this is my theory for how it could have happened, kills off the other servants, sets freaking Kinzo's corpse on fire. He does the whole envelope stuff to set up the circle room. Leaves her corpse on purpose in the parlor, the first place that the parents would then have to investigate for what's going on, because she set everyone else either in the chapel, in the boiler room, or upstairs. So, or in the cemetery, far away, basically, far away from where Shannon would then have to be the first corpse you find on purpose, because then they'd find her corpse. She's acting like she's dead. Nando did say he's not a specialist in analyzing bodies, in diagnosing bodies. He did say even he's a doctor. You could also argue he's an accomplice, which in episode 3 he might as well be because of something that happens later on. So we'll get into it in a second. If not just an accomplice, we're good. If he's not an accomplice, we can just chalk it up to him misdiagnosing Shannon's death. But he just goes, yeah, Shannon's dead. Okay, cool. They leave with, I'm assuming they leave with the master key and the letter that sends the key to the next room. But it's fine. Shannon has 2 master keys, so Shannon could have just left another master key in the parlor at some point. Then, while the rest of the family were investigating the other bodies, Shannon knew the sort of route that the siblings would take to then investigate all the bodies, and she purposely left the chapel last and the one furthest away, so that she would then have time to disguise herself as Kanon, run to the chapel, and then act like she's dead again with 1 master key. Bada bing, bada boom. They go, so eventually the family goes to the chapel, finds Kanon's body. It's not actually Kanon's body, and we're good. Now we've solved that. Great. Okay, next is Maria and Rosa. So this is the first killing where I actually don't think it was Sayo. I don't think someone's involved. I think this is from here on out, Eva is partly the culprit. Eva helps her out or something. And the reason why is because I'm trying to believe that Eva teach in this case is actually Eva. And, you know, Eva kills Battler in the end. So something psychopathic about it, about her. She's deranged. But hey, I don't hate Eva. She's okay. So she finds the gold. Rosa finds the gold right after. I think Eva, because at this point in time, Eva still hadn't killed anyone yet, right? and Eva didn't really want to kill Rosa. But I think when Rosa's pressuring her to tell about the location of the gold to the rest of the siblings, and I was pressuring like, go, tell him, tell him, and let's see, and she didn't want to, and Eva didn't want to, so then Eva goes, I gotta kill off Rosa. She said that she's pressuring me to tell him. She told me that she was gonna tell him herself if Eva waited too long, if he waited for over a day. She can't be trusted. So they both returned to the mansion first. Maria then started being annoying, so Rosa had to leave with Maria, and Eva resolved herself, sturdied herself, went out there, killed off Rosa and Maria. But because killing off Maria will be shooting Maria will be too harsh, she probably just strangle her, and that's why, or something like that, right? That's why we found some weird marks on her neck or whatever, and she got a peaceful death or whatever. Because Eva doesn't actually want to kill Maria, but she just wants I don't think Eva actually wants to kill Maria. I think it's more like she's a witness. She has to die along with Rosa. I don't know how Rosa's because Beato confirmed in Red that Rosa's death was as Nanjo diagnosed it to be when Nanjo then diagnosed Rosa's corpse. I don't know how Eva managed to do that to perfectly just ram Rosa's head through that gate. That must have taken some extreme force. So yeah, I guess at some point while Rosa was distracted, maybe she just kind of forced Rosa in and impaled her head through the spike. I don't know. She did that, and then Maria was probably all shocked, but then Eva killed her off too. Eva then returns to the guest house, because at this point in time, this is when she starts getting all sick and that. Right, she starts getting sick and that, which I think is just. I think Hideyoshi's also an accomplice here, right? Because she starts getting sick or whatever, acting like, oh, I can't do anything, I'm whatever, and then this way she can escape being targeted for being the culprit. So the rest find Rosa and Maria's body, and they're like, okay, that's crazy, bro. This is after they theorize the epitaph, right? Yeah. Eventually, Kirie notices the cigarette butt of Hideyoshi and realizes that, hey, oh, wait a second. Eva doesn't like when people smoke next to her. I don't think Eva was in the room. I suspect Hideyoshi. And maybe Eva as well. So Eva and Rudolph then go up, and yeah, Eva then calls out to Rudolph and tells Rudolph about the cigarette butt, is what I'm guessing. Rudolph goes, okay, so Rudolph and Kirie immediately join the gang of, oh, we should go to the mansion to get food, even though Kirie knows, as proven by the red by Evatrice, that they don't actually need food. But Kirie suspects Hideyoshi. So my throat is hurting after talking for so long. Okay, so they go to the so those three, including Hideyoshi, right, go to the mansion, and a bloody battle happened where I guess Eva was the only survivor, is how I can describe that. Or Sayo was also involved, because remember, Sayo's still alive. Sayo was also involved, although wasn't the mansion locked at this point? No, the mansion was locked in episode 4, forget it. Anyway, maybe Sayo was also involved, and Sayo killed off Hideyoshi, and Eva killed off Rudolph and Kiria, and because Eva found the gold and Eva became the new Beatrice, Sai respected that and was like, I ain't killing you, Eva, you keep doing your thing. Eva was like, cool, bet. So Eva returned, maybe, there's many different ways this could have happened. Eva returns because Hideyoshi was shot or something. But no, I feel like that wouldn't make sense, because if Sayo was the one that killed Hideyoshi, I don't feel like Eva would have reacted the way she did when she returned to the guest house. So maybe a shootout happened, right? Or maybe Eva, while walking around the mansion, noticed Hideyoshi dead because Katie and Rudolph found out that Hideyoshi's an accomplice and killed them off. And let's just say in this scenario, Hideyoshi tried to retaliate, but they killed them off. Eva got angry and shot them both, killed them, ran back to the guest house, and told everyone, "Hey, we need to go to the mansion. Let's go to the mansion." And oh yeah, and by the way, wait a minute. Wait. Did Cross and Nazi die before or after they left? I think it was during. I think during the time Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Eva left. No, Rudolph, Kiria, and Hideyoshi left the mansion. I think it was during that time that Cross and Nazi were killed, right? Or was it after? I don't exactly remember, but I do remember that Eva was there alone with them at some point. I'm gonna assume it was during. So during them being away, here's what I think happened then. During those three being away, Eva poisoned Cross and Nazi, right? Because she said she was gonna prepare tea for them, right? Wasn't there was a whole scene where she was like, "Oh, you guys want some tea?" And then Cross and Nazi were like, "Bet, okay." She made some poison tea for them, killed them both, sent them off to the arbor eventually, and then from there, right after getting their corpses to the arbor, went to the mansion. Then she killed off Kiria and Rudolph after finding Hideyoshi's dead corpse. Ran back to the no, Cross and Nazi were alive at that point, weren't they? Cross and Nazi were alive when they found Rudolph and Kiria's corpse and Hideyoshi. So okay, never mind, forget it. The poisoning happens after. Either way, this scene and they get poisoned and Eva eventually carries their corpses to the arbor. So the killings happen. Eva returns. She tells everyone, "Hey, let's go to the mansion." Most likely because she doesn't want to believe that Hideyoshi is actually dead, and so she wants everyone to come over and maybe they can do something about it so that he can survive. I don't know. But wouldn't that make Eva sus? I don't exactly remember how that specific event in episode 3 happened. Did Eva go outside at any point without Cross and Nazi knowing? Either way, whatever happened, something happened. Okay, it can still be solved with the series, so it's fine. I'm sure it can be solved. I'm not exactly sure of the events of whether Cross and Nazi died first or whether Rudolph, Katie, and Hideyoshi died first. But in the grand scheme of trying to solve what really happened, well, it does matter, yes, but it doesn't matter in terms of solving who the culprit is in this case. So, Eva did her thing, poisoned them, killed off Rudolph and Kiria. Was very sad after that. In the meanwhile, George jumps off the friggin' window because Sayo shows up and he's like, "Come here." Maybe she even brings up a ladder. And because in this scenario, Nanjo doesn't have to be an accomplice. Nanjo locks the window. Then George and Sayo run off together to the mansion, to the parlor. Meanwhile, Eva's panicking, like, "Where's George? Where did my son go?" And then everyone goes, "Okay, let's see." And this is after Cross and Nazi are dead, right? Because Cross and Nazi are found to be nowhere by this point. So I do think Cross and Nazi were killed after Kiri and the rest. Then, if I remember correctly, then I think it must have been. I think the position must have happened afterwards then. But that should have made Eva really sus to Cross and Nazi then, because wouldn't Eva then had needed to leave them both alone for her to go to the mansion and have enough time to kill them both and return? I don't know. Hey, I don't really exactly remember how it went. I feel like I would have sussed Eva if I'd gone to that point, especially because Eva was already sus at that point because of Eva teaches. So I don't know why I didn't sus Eva at that point. But hey, alright, we'll leave it for now. Yeah, they go to the arbor, they find the Cross and Nazi that Eva killed, poisoned. And then they eventually go to the mansion. Sayo kills George in the parlor. They go to the mansion. They find the number that was on George's door. They're like, "What the rig?" They get in. They find Sayo and George's corpse. In this case, Sayo's acting like she's dead. By the way, here again. So another misdiagnosis from Nanjo on purpose. But we already established Nanjo as the culprit here. We do need to establish multiple people as culprits for a lot of this to work, to be fair. I'll be honest. I don't know if Nanjo's a materialistic person, maybe, but was he, did Sayo at any point tell him, okay, I'll give you the gold if you work along with me? I don't know. Either way, that's the only way this year could work. That's fair. But there's so many things going on with this. There's so much evidence pointing to this that it's actually amazing. So next up, we have, I think next up we have yeah, Eva burns Jessica's eyes with smoke fired off from the gun, and Nanjo takes her to the servant room where he can do first aid on her. Meanwhile, Battler's keeping watch of Eva at all times while Eva's running off in the mansion. I forgot why Eva was running off in the mansion, but okay. But she has a perfect alibi because Battler. And Battler's not the culprit. I've already confirmed that Battler, I don't think he's either the culprit nor an accomplice for any of the episodes. So Eva does have a perfect alibi. But guess what? Sayo's been alive all along. Sayo didn't actually die at any point. And even if when Eva teacher said in red that Shannon died and Canon died in red, Sayo is not necessarily Shannon or Canon. Could be a different personality. So even if that holds, we're still good. Sayo then kills off Nanjo. Jessica's all confused of what's going on, so Sayo then cosplays as Canon, takes Jessica to a hiding spot behind some curtains. Battler's still following Eva. Eva, at this point, can't find where Jessica's at, which I think is why she was running around the mansion, because she couldn't find Jessica, and Battler was with her, and Eva's like, alright, frick this. She shoots Battler, kills off Battler. Battler was the last victim, which means that and by the way, Jessica was killed in the 10th twilight of episode 3. So maybe after Canon's personality in this case put Jessica in a safe spot from Eva. Eva then was like, alright, frick this. I know where the gold is, and I know that there's explosives down here. I gotta get out of here before midnight. She kills Battler. She goes, alright, I know I can hide in Cubadorian because I know there's no explosives there. Because for some reason, solving the epitaph somehow leads you to knowing that when you go down there, that there are explosives down there, and that there's gold and all that stuff. So, and that also leads her to Cubadorian. So Eva already knows that a Cubadorian exists. There's no explosives there. She won't die from the explosion, from the bomb, the explosive bombs. Eva then goes to Cubadorian, survives, Jessica's killed in the 10th twilight. Episode 3, I declare, solved. Episode 4, thankfully, I didn't have to do as much to solve this one, because Battler was away from it for a whole good chunk of it. So, the first Twilight could have just happened in millions of different ways because Battler never witnessed it. The pitfalls never needed to exist, whatever. Next, the people who were sent to the dungeon, I don't know. You can explain it in many different ways. I don't really know how that could have possibly happened. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Sayo, Gora, Kumasawa, and them all work together, and with guns they threaten the yes, I get it now. So maybe they all threaten them to go to the friggin' dungeon underground, where they would then call for Cross and Kirio would then call for Battler and be like, y'all have tests or whatever. Jessica and George take their tests. Who knows how they died? Whatever. Then there's also before that there's also the whole scene. Right. Goro and Kumasawa being complices doesn't make much sense now that I think about it, because there's the whole scene where they get left in the shed, in the gardening shed. So I don't exactly know, but I mean, and Battler left the key with them, but I mean, yeah, You know, they could have. What could have happened there is that they could have given the key back to maybe, or maybe they were. Maybe they were. Maybe Sayo told them to act like they're being. Um, hmm, I don't really know. I don't exactly even remember how Sayo and Kumasawa, no, Kumasawa and Gora were locked up in the shuttle to begin with. Was it like a certain order they had? Right, it was to solve the. Right, I remember now. Because Gora and Kumasawa were with them the entire time. Then they were given letters and calls to tell them that, okay, lock Kumasawa and Gora up in a place where they can't go anywhere, so that you guys can start your test to deem who could be the next head for the family. And I think this is interesting. The four tests are very interesting. We'll get in a second. So then they put Gora and Kumasawa in the shed, gave them the key so that nobody could enter. But of course, Sayo could have then gone to the shed, taken the key from them. Right? Could have asked, "Hey, can you give me the key?" Because it's Shannon, right? They trust Shannon. They would trust Shannon. Shannon would then get the key, open the door to the shed, kill them both, have them hang, close the shutter again, and then leave the key in the in there again. Now I don't remember. Was the key actually in Gora's Was the key in Gora's pocket or not? I just want to know, guys. If not, I'm sure you could. She maybe aimed for Gora's pocket and then boom. After she did the murder and then boom left it there. So there you go, solved. Whatever. Okay, come on. Next, the test happened. Sayo kills off George naturally, or maybe someone else did. I don't know. Genji, to be fair, is Ronove. So whoever Gap is, if it's a real person, maybe it's Sayo herself. I don't know. Kills off George. Whoever Gap is. I said it, but actually, I said last time it might have been Kiria, so maybe Kiria killed off George. I don't know, maybe Kiria's an accomplice. I don't know. Genji then kills off Jessica because we know Ronove is Genji. Eventually, eventually, before, right. Maybe Genji confronts Jessica or something, and then Kanon comes in. Kanon tells Jessica to say some fake words for Battler, basically. Kanon tells Jessica, because Sayo cosplays as Kanon, and Jessica's in love with Kanon, so maybe Jessica listened to Kanon's words, and Sayo knew how Jessica's corpse would end up, so maybe Kanon told Jessica, hey, to fabricate a story to Battler that, hey, I'm probably gonna be dead by the time you see this. This is how my corpse is gonna look like. Okay, bye. And then Kanon then went off, killed Jessica. Cruel Sayo did that, so that it would look like the same description as the way Jessica told Battler in the phone call. Kiria, I can't explain as much because I don't know the freak. Like, did Sayo disguise herself as Beato and then tell Kiria to tell Battler that magic exists and that she should accept magic? I don't know. I also can't explain how she got hurt multiple times before she fully died. So episode 4 has been kind of hard to really explain here. But I don't really know what to go. I don't really know what to go for there. But okay, she was killed by Sayo at some point. Genji could have been killed by Sayo at any point as well. No issues remaining. Wait a minute. Yeah, where did Battler find Genji's corpse at the during the tea party? I forgot. I forget. When was Genji supposed to die? He didn't die in the first Twilight. Let's see. The second Twilight was. I don't remember who the second Twilight for episode 2 was actually. Yeah, but anyway, Battler then Battler then confronted Sayo. Sayo asked Battler, "What is your sin from 6 years ago?" For some reason. So this is where things get interesting. She asked him that question. Battler then would have to go. Battler then go, I don't know, does it have to do something to do with my family? Sayo tells him, no, it's not got nothing to do with your family. Beatrice, you had no connections to Beatrice 6 years ago or whatever. What is your sin? Battler says he doesn't remember. Sayo gets very disappointed for some reason. Her personality changes so much, she gets very distraught. So she leaves Battler there, but the entire mansion is locked by this point. Right, because that's why Battler can get inside. Sayo leaves Battler there, and then maybe she then gave up and I don't know what happened to Sayo after that. Maybe then after that she killed herself because she was disappointed that Battler couldn't give her a proper answer, or who knows what else. But okay, Battler then goes investigating for an entire day. First he sits in the kitchen, eats a lot of food, goes investigating for a day, then he chills in the mansion one more time before he gets exploded by the explosion in the 10th Twilight. Episode 4, kinda solved, kinda not solved. But I mean, episode 4 I feel like was more of a Episode 4, the means of doing the murders is very easy to explain. Without magic, it's the motive that becomes really hard in episode 4, and that's why I think episode 4 is secretly the hardest. But anyway, I have now solved every episode. That took me a while. I knew it was gonna take a while, with the theory that Sayo is canon. Now, I've given you guys a lot of very convincing things here as to why this could be the case. But, as you guys may know, I am not convinced that this is the theory, personally, myself. There's a lot of nods that point to this, right? But there's also things that truly don't make sense. The biggest one for me is the motive. I have no clue. Why Sayo, Shannon, whoever the frig it is, Canon, I have no clue why they would go on this killing spree. I know it's connected to Battler, but I have no clue. I don't understand, y'all. I try to think about it. I don't understand. What does Shannon and Battler have in common? I don't get it. Sayo or Canon, they never... Shannon is supposed to love George. I don't understand. Canon is supposed to love Jessica. I don't understand. If you go with Beatrice logic, Beato's supposed to be Kinzo's mistress. None of these people are connected to Battler. How are they connected to Battler? This is a case of without love it cannot be seen, because I don't have love, because I can't see it. I don't understand how and why this has something to do with Battler, and why Shannon go on this killing spree. But if the theory is true, then the test that happened at the end was Sayo's test for Battler to have Battler figure out his sin, and that's just disappointed because Battler didn't remember it. What was the sin? What did Battler do against Sayo 6 years ago? If the culprit is Sayo, I don't understand that. This is what makes me the most frustrated, because that doesn't make sense. Why? I tried thinking hard about it. Why? What did? Oh, the only thing I could remember is that in episode 1, one of the first scenes that happened was Battler was trying to grab Shannon's breast. It was like one of the first things they did. He was like, ooh, can I grab him? Can I grab him? And it wasn't until Jessica, no, he stopped himself because he was like, wait, Shannon, why are you not stopping me? And Shannon was like, I don't know, I don't know what's supposed to stop you. And I'm there like, what? Is she angry because? Is she angry because Battler's always made these advances on her but never actually acted upon them fully? Like, what? That can't be it. That can't be it. I highly doubt, by the way, that if it is Sayo or Shannon, I do not think that it is a materialistic, there is a materialistic reason for it. I think it's an emotional reason, especially if we take episode 2's into account as to how I solved the murders of episode 2, because I solved them by saying that she was able to trick the family to go to the chapel by showing them the gold, which I do think so. I do think Sayo has possession of the gold and knows where it is, because if that's the case, she could do the murders of episode 2 cleanly, and she could turn people into accomplices, right? She could turn Rose into an accomplice in episode 2, for example. She could turn Eva into an accomplice by finding the goal in episode 3, whatever happened there. So she can turn people into accomplices. She can turn Nanjo. Maybe Nanjo is materialistic enough to be like, alright, you listen, I'm taking billions of yen. Alright, I'll misdiagnose all these people. Maybe. So for one thing, I don't understand the motive. For another thing is, so this one person, Sayo, decided to disguise himself as both Kanon and Shannon, and acted like they were in love with two of the cousins of the Ishima family, while also being connected to Battler? What? So Saya acts like she's in love with George and takes George's ring and takes all of his love and whatever, but she also then goes on to being Kanon and is hanging out with Jessica and is going, okay, well, we're having a great time. Doesn't make sense. So that's one thing that doesn't make sense. Her being connected to Battler doesn't make sense. I don't know what Battler's sin is 6 years ago that could possibly make her connected to Battler. I don't see it. I don't understand. I don't understand what Battler did to her 6 years ago. Remember that kind of only became a servant 3 years ago. So Sayo decided maybe to plot this entire murder from 3 years ago. Remember also another thing, and this is another big hint and not towards Sayo being the culprit, was that Sayo was the one that smashed the Torii gate. She was the one that destroyed the shrine. So if Sayo was the one that planted the bomb in the mansion or wherever she planted that bomb, the bomb that kills people in the 10th Fine Line, I guess she also destroyed the shrine because she has a hatred for it. Maybe she's also maybe Sayo's also, I mean, Tiffy, she was joined some beautiful magic circles, so maybe she's like Maria and she's full on the occult gang. She's joined the occult, so maybe Sayo's like, alright, frick these Eastern gods, alright, Western occultism, that's what you guys are supposed to go with. So she blew up the Torii gate and the shrine, and that's why the gate isn't there anymore during the summer. And George was like, it was there last year, but it's not here this year. Sayo did that, and then planted the bomb under the mansion, which you might think, again, why wasn't it found by Crosser and else? Well, because she planted it recently. If she destroyed the Torii gate in the summer, it makes sense that she planted it recently. I think Kanon being introduced 3 years ago, I think she was just waiting for, if Battler is the reason she's doing these killings. She introduced Kanon 3 years ago and waited until Battler come back for another family conference before starting another one of these, before starting a killing spree. I don't know why, but Battler surviving till the very end is definitive proof for me that this is connected to Battler. Also, the Red Truth helps a lot, but Battler survived till the very end every episode. Almost essentially every episode. So it's clearly does something to do with Battler. I noticed this. The first time I noticed that something sus with Battler surviving until the end was in episode 2, because I was like, okay, so everyone dies, but Battler still luckily doesn't survive. Especially because it was treated as a lucky roulette thing, where the people who die are luck based, and it's not actually, there's no actual motive going on. It's just a roulette that goes, nah, there is a motive. I don't know what Sayo's motive could be. But hey, she destroyed the shrine. There's a lot of things that's not it being Sayo, like destroying the shrine, all that stuff, the bomb. If we assume the bomb 3 is correct, I don't know what's going on in the 10th Fine Line. That's the problem. I don't know. Because Battler, there's a red truth in the end. That's right. The red truth in the end that says that Battler is the only one left alive, and that Beato's not Battler, so who am I? Right? But there was no one left in the island, so, and if Sayo was dead at the time, then what the frick, bro? Or maybe... Yeah, there's no one left in the island. That was said in red. Is Sayo not a person? I guess she was nothing left in the island. She was dead. So, can an inanimate object talk? Yet I'm about to kill you in red. Oh. No, that doesn't make sense. I was gonna say maybe Sayo said this to Battler right. Beato said this in red to Battler right before Sayo died, but it doesn't make sense because then the red truth saying there's no one left on the island wouldn't make sense because Sayo would then be alive. So there's no one left other than you in the island. That's not true because I would also be left in the island. Sayo would also be left in the island. So that doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't know how this connected to Battler. It makes no sense. There's other things that make no sense with this, and that's something you guys might have asked long ago by now. Is how the heck is Sayo able to voice act canon? Beato we can understand because again she has a female voice. Fine. How is she able to voice a male voice? How is she able to do canon? Well, I don't know. You could argue maybe she has a voice recorder for a random male voice which ends up being canon, which you could argue that's why canon talks in a very monotone, low voice because it's all a recording anyway. Maybe that's what she's doing. Maybe Sayo is straight up acting like she's canon, and the reason why we can barely hear canon 90% of the time is because Sayo talks so low to try and make her voice as deep as possible to try and make it sound like, okay, this voice could actually come from a guy, from a very feminine looking guy and a girl. Secondly, another thing that we have to mention before we regarding how it's doubtful that if you want to doubt that Sayo is actually canon, and this is something that Battler for sure would have brought up, and that is the breast size just doesn't work. I mean, like just, if you look at Shannon's bazookas, they don't match with Kanon's flat chest. I'm saying this completely unironically. So I guess Kanon wears padding. I guess secretly Sayo's flat. Oh no, she's flat chested and she wears. When she's Kanon, she just goes along her normal form. But then when she's Sayo, she puts on the padding to make her breasts a lot larger. I don't know. And that's why when Battler first arrived to visit her, he was like, "Oh my god, oh you've grown a lot that over there, if you know what I mean. Maybe that's maybe. Oh no, no, I don't get it. But why would she do that? Maybe she was trying to make herself more seductive for George. I don't know. Next, another thing is, although to be fair, if you guys have you guys seen My Dress Up Darling? So there's an anime called My Dress Up Darling, which came out earlier this year, winter of this year, winter 2022. Earlier this year, I believe. It might have been last year. I don't know. I don't know exactly. But there was a girl in that anime who wanted to cosplay. Funnily enough, we're mentioning cosplays here. But she wanted to cosplay. But she wanted to cosplay as a guy. So what she did to cosplay as this really cool guy is there's like this weird tape you can put on your chest to make your breasts, because she had large breasts, so she can really cosplay. So she put this tape on her breast to make her breasts a lot smaller. If you see My Dress Up Darling, you'll know what I mean. So her breasts seemed were a lot smaller, and she was able to actually successfully voice act a guy, a dude, who obviously has a flat chest in this case. So maybe that's what Sayo did. She has that same sort of tape, that cosplayer tape. I mean, if she has a wig to be blonde-haired Beato, I'm sure she has a lot of other things to allow her to become the person that she is. Besides the gold, she can buy anything she wants. Okay. There are other reasons why Sayo being canon doesn't make sense. This again, but the biggest one is the why. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. If you guys understand why, don't let me know. Actually, don't let me. Again, like I said, don't tell me if this series is right or wrong, because I think it's wrong. But don't tell me that it's wrong. That's what I mean. I think it is wrong, but the evidence is amazing, and yeah. Don't tell me that this series is wrong, or right, or anything. You can discuss if you want. You can let me know if I've said something wrong if you want, if there's something contradictory. Go ahead. But I do have multiple issues with this theory, and I do want to doubt it. But for sure as hell, I will not be reading episode 5 right now, because this is going on for way longer than I thought it was going to go on for. But I will say, when I start episode 5, the people I'll be focusing on Kanon for sure, bro. My eyes are going to be glued at Kanon. What's Kanon going to be doing? I'm also going to focus on Nazi, because I think Nazi's a good secondary culprit. If it's not Sayo, I'll keep saying her real name. I hope you guys know why, because again, I want to identify the real person here. If it's not Sayo, then or Shannon, or yeah, I want to say Sayo though, then I think Nazi is the more likely culprit after that. And Nazi, unlike Sayo, actually has motive. Sayo, I don't see any motive because I don't have love, so I can see it. I guess I don't know. I think Nazi's plenty motive. So Nazi being the culprit makes a lot more sense. You guys are probably thinking I'm overthinking it by thinking that it's Sayo and that it's actually Nazi all along. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Am I done talking about who the culprit is? Yes. Oh yeah, also not remove Jessica from the list of culprits. Yeah, I think at this point it's between Nazi and Sayo for me. After all these revelations that I've just told you, I think it has to be between those two. It could be someone from outside the island, but could be. But also that's on another thing, and that is that Beato really did die 19 years ago in all the episodes in different ways. Who knows how? In episode 3, at least we can say for sure that maybe Rosa led to her death, but I think the current Beato is actually the culprit and someone's cosplaying her, and that she's not the same Beato the one that lived 19 years ago and was being Kinzo's mistress. I don't know what's going on the whole common coos bull crap. I don't know what that means. I don't know if my friend's theory is any good at all about how my friend introduced me to Umineko about how Shannon and Kanon are just homunculus. I'll tell him about this theory of mine, by the way, as well. I'll tell him about him. Because he doesn't know the answer either. He said that he doesn't know who the culprit is. So I'm gonna tell him this theory, and I don't know his opinion on it as well. Because next time I meet him, I'll probably meet him tomorrow. Actually, on Friday, I'll probably meet him. I want to talk to him a little bit. Because after this theory of mine, I think hopefully he might find some clues as well with me, or maybe some contradictions with me, because I don't understand the motive. I don't understand the motive. Truly I don't. That's the thing. That's the biggest thing that's holding me back. I don't understand why Sai would go to do the killings. The evidence points towards her. Why done it though? Why did she do it though? Why? And on multiple occasions also committed suicide. Why would she do all that? What sort of point is she trying to prove to Battler? What has Battler done to deserve having his entire family killed? What has Angie done? Angie to find out the truth of Rockinjima. Did she find out the truth? I'm guessing she did. But then, did Angie even know who Sayo was, if Sayo is the culprit? Or did Angie find the answer of something else? There is also the secret with Angie. The Angie story. Otherwise, guys, I do not actually think I've gone through every single piece of evidence that points to Sayo being Kanon here, because I made a lot of connections during these last 2 days. But I think for now I've talked for so long that I think this will suffice for now. In fact, I think again, I think I could wait and keep, because I didn't make any notes, by the way. So yeah. I didn't take any notes, so this is just I'm just going all along. But I do remember finding a lot of evidence. The more I searched, the more I found evidence, like how they're the same age. They're the only servants that we know of that come from this, other than Lunon. We don't know who Lunon is. That's another thing. I don't know who Lunon is. I don't know what that crap's all about. If Lunon even exists, Lunon might be another delusion from Sayo. Might be another Sayo personality. I don't know. I don't know. There's also the whole scene with Kanon that went to went to Jessica's school with her when she was doing that performance. What was that all about, right? Does that mean that Shannon was absent during the entirety of the school conference? Was school conference, whatever? Maybe that's why Kanon was so against it, because he knew that could there's a good word for what I'm trying to say. Compromise. There we go. That could compromise her identity of being Sayo. But I guess she made it work because she wasn't in the school for that long. Maybe that's what she did. I don't know. Because that would kind of, I mean, if imagine Shannon got orders to do stuff while Kanon had to go to the not family conference, to the school conference or whatever with Jessica. That would be kind of troubling for Sayo. What would she do then? I don't know. What about the whole scene where Shannon's talking to Kanon and Shannon goes, "Oh, look at the freaking ocean. It's blue," and Kanon goes like, "No, all I see is a gray ocean." And Shannon's like, "Ah, okay, maybe you need love. Without love, you cannot see it." What about all the discussions that Beato had with Kanon and Shannon? They've had myriads of discussions. if this theory is true, there's all of those are recontextualized, and none of them make sense. None of them make sense. Why is Canon so against Beato? I don't understand the motive. Why did Shannon act the way she did towards Beato in episode 2? I don't understand. What does any of it mean? I don't know who the seven stakes are, by the way, either. I mean, I've managed to identify the Justice Sisters. I think that's true. Again, don't confirm whether I'm right or wrong about that. But actually, you guys can confirm whether I'm right or wrong about that, because I highly doubt I'm wrong about that at this point. The Justice Sisters. That kind of seems like the very obvious point to go to. Same thing with Runoue being Runoue. Genji. Easy enough. And Kumasawa being Virgilia. That was revealed by the visual novel itself, so there's no real theorizing there. Just have to think about who the Chester sisters are, but I guess not the Chester, the seven stakes are. I still haven't figured that out. I don't know a group of specifically 7 people it could be. Even better, I don't know who Gop is. I need to find out who Gop is. All I found in the character file was that Gop is all I found in the character file is that Gop is Beato's friend. So there's that. We've heard this beckoning soundtrack this entire video, by the way, so I hope you guys enjoyed the soundtrack. It's not a bad theorizing soundtrack, you know. I mean, steady pace. Nah, we'll keep it at beckoning. You guys will get beckoning. Yeah, you guys will only get beckoning this entire. What's Tooth Faction again? Ah, you guys can get some Tooth Faction here. This is not a good Steve soundtrack, man. I could have used this one as too. Oh man, there's so many good TV soundtracks. Umineko is good. It's filled with good TV crafting soundtracks, you know. Okay, I think I shall end things there. I don't think I have anything else of note to be saying or to be talking about. I think there very well. I found a lot of evidence. So, like I said, there could very well be more regarding. So you guys might be thinking, "Yo, Amin, really? That's enough for you to think that's who the culprit is?" Well, there might be more. There might have been more reasons I found for why I think Sayo is the culprit that I'm just not remembering right now, unfortunately for y'all. So I apologize if that is the case. I do also want to say, again, don't tell me whether I'm right or wrong. I don't want you guys to. My voice is dying. I swear next Umineko video is going to be episode 5 startup. No more theory discussion videos, because this is not only is my voice really hurting, I really need the visual novel to start doing the talking. You know what I mean? I need the voice actor to start doing the talking. I have to respect voice actors, bro. Talking for and people who do podcasts. Although I say podcast, at least with podcasts, you're having a discussion with someone else. You're not talking on your own. I'm talking on my own here to you guys without stop, non-stop for hours on end. And I've done that both in the theory discussion video and now on this video as well. Timestamp this video if you want as well. Lovely commenter, great person. You don't have to though. I mean, it's a lot of work. I mean, I guess by the time you reach this point and you've decided to timestamp, it's a bit late for me to tell you this, but you really don't have to do all this. You really don't. I mean, it's okay. I do appreciate the timestamps you did for the theory discussion video, so of course I'll thank you very much for that. Okay, I think I'll leave it there. Let me know in the comments. I'll let you guys know in the comments if there's anything else I can come up for why it's Sayo and why I think it's Sayo and why it isn't, because right now I'm going with her as possibly the main culprit. I'm going with Nuts as the secondary culprit here, and I'm going to be focusing on these two characters and Canon, of course, in the next episode. Battler is always a character focus, so I'm going to focus him at all times. And I want to see mostly Battler and Shannon's relationship, how that goes, and Battler and Canon, and in general the way Canon and Shannon act in the next episode. And I want to focus on Nazi in the next episode as well. If Nazi is truly the culprit, I want to see if it is her. If I've ruled out the culprit already and it isn't neither of these, then all the better, guys. Do not confirm it for me, please. Don't tell me if I'm right or wrong, okay? I think it's best if I don't know what the solution is, because I think I've gotten enough from y'all, maybe. If I'm completely off the mark, though, nah. If I'm completely off the mark, wouldn't that be even funnier? Because then, oh my god, Amy made this hilariously far-fetched theory about how it could be, and then the visual novel tells me like, nah, this is how it happened. I mean, you're an idiot. Nasi's the culprit, or Kitty is the culprit, or Rudolph is the culprit, or Hideyoshi or Eva. Eva's actually been the culprit all along. You didn't notice it. Jessica's actually the culprit. George, you said George was sus all along. Haha. Well, guess what? George was actually is actually the culprit. I don't know. Okay. Anything else I need to mention though? Nope. Okay, so that's where I'll end this video. I do want to say that in 2 days time I will be doing a because the official One Piece chapters already come out unofficially, the scans, but I'm gonna wait until the official chapter because that comes out on my birthday. So funnily enough, yes, it couldn't have happened better. So this chapter that's about to come out is better be a banger, Oda. So I'm gonna probably be live streaming. If you guys want to catch me live streaming on Sunday, it's going to be at 4 p.m. European time. So you guys can set whatever time it is for you, by Central European time, whatever time zones just changed, so whatever time zone it is in Europe in general, not the UK, right? We're 1 hour ahead of the UK, so make sure to remember that 4 p.m. you can join me and watch the if you want. Maybe you don't want to, it's fine, whatever. I'm gonna end things here. Either way, I just wanted to announce, I just wanted to say that if you wanna read that One Piece chapter with me. Either way, it's whatever. I'm gonna end this here. I hope you guys enjoyed this One Piece. I said One Piece. Great, Amen. Fantastic. I was about to say One Piece. I hope you guys enjoyed this Umineko Culprit theory video. Next time, that's it. There is no more next time. As in, no more theory discussion video. At least, not now. Once this video comes out, honestly, I won't even give you guys with the theory discussion video. I gave you guys time to reply, and by giving you guys time to reply, I was able to get new ideas for now finding out who I think is the culprit. I pinned it down. But when this comes out, I'm confident whatever, even if I find out for certain that the something huge because you guys say something, I don't know, whatever it is, I'm starting episode 5 next time. That's it. That's all. I'm fully on starting episode 5 next time. We're going to be starting episode 5 next time. I can tell you guys right now, no more 3D screen video. I might not even give you guys time to comment. Although I might. Tomorrow I'm very busy, so I might not have time to record tomorrow. So I might give you guys tomorrow, when this video is going to be uploaded tomorrow. I might give you guys just enough time tomorrow to, if you decide to watch the entire thing in one sitting, good luck with that. I'm curious enough time tomorrow to comment what you think of this, or whatever you wanna comment, but not several days like I've done now. Okay, so yeah, we're going to start episode 5 as soon as I can, because I really want to start episode 5. I'm really gonna keep going, especially now that I've made all these crazy absurd series. I want to see how much I've got right and how much I've got wrong. I want to see what's really going with canon, because I don't this canon Sayo theory, as beautiful as it is in my opinion, there's so many things off mark about it that don't make sense. So I want to know the real truth, and I want to start reading the answer rocks, because they're gonna answer, right? Surely, maybe a little bit. I know my friend that introduced me to Umineko, and a commenter also told me that the answer rocks don't really answer things like you expected to in Higurashi. So fair enough, fine. But we'll be focusing on on the characters that I said we'll be focusing on, especially Sayo and, or I guess Shannon, Kanon, and Nazi, and as always Battler, of course. And we'll see how things go. I hope you guys enjoy this. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoy watching this or listening to this. This is a podcast, I guess, at least as much as I enjoyed talking about this theory that I made. I'll probably put more information and details in the comments regarding things that I might have missed talking about in this video, because there were so many things I thought while theorizing this, so I might do that there. But for now, this is it. And next time we're going to be reading episode 5. I know it's been long awaited. The answer rocks need to start soon. I'm sorry. This is it. I promise you guys this much. I'll see you guys next time. Alright, y'all. Peace.